What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you own a PlayStation 5 DualSense controller and you also play games on PC, this video is for you.
Because something just happened that the PC gaming community has been waiting for since 2020.
Something so significant that people are losing their minds in forums, Discord servers, and comment sections all over the internet.
DualSense haptic feedback, that incredible immersive rumble tech that makes PS5 games feel like nothing else, now works wirelessly over Bluetooth on your PC.
But here's the twist that makes this story even more interesting. Sony had absolutely nothing to do with it. Stick around, because we're gonna break down everything. Duals, what happened, why Sony never fixed this, how a third-party developer actually pulled it off, and what this means for you as a PC gamer going forward. Let's get into it. Before we talk about the fix, let's make sure everyone's on the same page about what makes the DualSense so special in the first place, because if you haven't used one on a PS5, you might be wondering what all the fuss is about.
Sony launched the PlayStation 5 back in November 2020, and alongside it came the DualSense controller.
Before we talk about the fix, let's make sure everyone's on the same page about what makes the DualSense so special in the first place. Sony launched the PlayStation 5 back in November 2020, and alongside it came the DualSense controller.
On the surface, it looks like an evolution of the DualShock 4. New color scheme, slightly chunkier build, USB-C charging. Fine, cool, whatever.
But what's inside is where things get genuinely exciting.
The DualSense introduced two features that completely changed the game, no pun intended. First, there are adaptive triggers.
The L2 and R2 buttons can dynamically change their resistance depending on what's happening in the game. Pull back a bowstring and you feel the tension. Step on the brakes of a car and you feel that pressure. Second, and this is the one we're really talking about today, there's the haptic feedback system.
And this is no T the same as regular rumble. Regular rumble motors just shake the whole controller kind of randomly.
That can recreate incredibly specific sensations. That can recreate incredibly specific sensations. That can recreate incredibly specific sensations.
It's subtle, it's detailed, and once you've played a game that does it well, you genuinely cannot go back. It's subtle, it's detailed, and once you've played a game that does it well, you genuinely cannot go back.
Now, Pants, here's the problem. When you take that same DualSense controller and plug it into your PC, some of those features carry over. Now, Past, here's the problem. When you take that same DualSense controller and plug it into your PC, some of those features carry over.
So why didn't this work? Why has it taken this long? To understand that, we have to get a little technical practice, but don't worry, I'll keep it simple.
The way DualSense haptic feedback works is actually pretty clever. Most people think it's just advanced vibration, but that's not what's happening under the hood.
High-definition audio information gets sent directly to those actuators, and that data is translated into incredibly precise physical sensations. That's why DualSense can make rain feel different from gravel, or sand feel different from walking across a wooden floor. On the PlayStation 5, this works flawlessly because Sony designed both sides of the equation, the console and the controller. Windows relies heavily on something called X input, a controller standard originally built around Xbox hardware.
The information is simply too large for the pipe carrying it.
Everything disappeared again.
This was incredibly frustrating for a specific type of PC gamer, and there are a lot of them.
But using Bluetooth on DualSense meant losing the feature that makes it better than every other controller on the market. The more expensive the controller, the more insulting the limitation felt. Sony ported games like God of War, Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, and The Last of Us to PC.
Let's talk about DSX Behe, because if you're a PC gamer using a DualSense and you don't know about this app, you've been missing out.
And to you, Plat. DSX is a paid application available on Steam, developed by a small team called Paliverse. The app's whole mission is one thing.
What does DSX do? It fills in all the gaps that Windows leaves behind with DualSense. Things like emulating the DualSense as a virtual Xbox 360 controller.
And then in June 2026, they delivered. DSX version 3.2 Beta 01 dropped, and with it came the feature everyone had been waiting for.
Hey, let's break down exactly what this update does and how it works, because the technical solution Paliverse came up with is genuinely impressive.
The result? Games can send native DualSense audio and haptic signals through DSX over Bluetooth or USB. The experience
Instruments. The main DSX app on Steam costs $7.99. The DSX Plus DLC, which you need for this wireless haptics feature, is—
Oh, and there's one more quality of life addition that deserves a mention.
DSX can now be launched manually without Steam running, using a 28-day ownership cache.
Okay, so now let's zoom out and talk about why this actually matters beyond just cool haptics work now.
So how has the community responded to this? Exactly how you'd expect, hey, with a mix of genuine excitement and some completely valid frustration at Sony.
When you spend $100 on a DualSense Edge, you expect to be able to use every feature on every device in every way you want.
One thing worth noting, this is still in beta. That means it's well tested enough to release publicly, but you might hit occasional bugs or rough edges.
So to bring it all together, the PS5 DualSense controller can now deliver full haptic feedback over Bluetooth on PC, thanks to DSX version 3.2 Beta 01. Let me know in the comments, are you picking up DSX? Have you already tried the beta? What game are you most excited to experience wirelessly with full haptics? I'll see you in the next one. Peace.